Hello, everyone. Today we're back to talk a bit about manifestation and what is this aspect of reality creation by which, our minds can affect changes in the world. And it's, a very ancient technique, almost a yogic technique, I suppose, of bringing your attention and your will to your reality right now, and then doing certain actions, I believe, with a higher degree of consciousness. That's, I suppose, what manifestation means to me. What does manifestation mean to you?
I think that for me, manifestation isn't a technique or this ancient practice. I think manifestation at its truest level is a state of being. It is not just a technique. I feel that each one of us in our pure states are consciously manifesting realities or situations in their life at any given point, whether you subconsciously know that or you don't. And I think that's the part that rules our life. And if we master that, you can have control to a certain extent on what reality you would like to choose and experience in your life. And today we want to talk a little bit more about how we can deal with disappointing events in your life and how to deal with disappointment and not just sit in it, but how you can turn that around into your desired reality, because you don't have to keep experiencing things that are not feeling good for you, and that can always change. Reality is very fleeting, really.
You make an important point regarding how manifestation, it's not just a technique, of course, it's a metaphysical truth of how sort of, life forms and life sort of appears in reality. A lot of the manifestations that we do are subconscious. For example, say we have this underlying belief that things will go wrong in our life, and then sure enough, that sort of biases our perception in such a way that things do go wrong. A lot of people can have sort of limiting beliefs or a sort of a fear of failure or belief that they will fail that actually affects their actions. Every one of their action is infused in that belief, and that creates this sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. I think people can understand that sort of that practical aspect of manifestation. And as well, I use the term technique because I believe that when you begin to start consciously manifesting, consciously watching your beliefs and your thoughts and your feelings in the moment as you're acting, I think using the terminology of technique can help certain people comprehend what that is. Of course, it's just a one way of sort of capturing the essence of it. And of course, it doesn't fully capture the full metaphysical, I suppose, flavor of what manifestation is. And so to sort of come to sort of what is disappointment, how do we navigate disappointment? I don't know. I haven't got anything intuitively coming from me at the moment. What sort of feelings do you have about that?
I feel that this is a very, very important topic. And the thing is that in our everyday lives, in spirituality, we've been taught all kinds of things, that you need to stay zen through it all, focus on that innate silence and awareness of your entire being. But on some days, I feel that can be trickier. And this video is basically to help you understand what it is that you need to be doing when you're in the moment. I'm talking about implementation. I'm not just talking about theoretical knowledge that we all know, that, oh yeah, you're supposed to be grateful, you're supposed to think good thoughts and, all of that stuff. The thing is that this video is channeled for those that are ready to put all of those things into motion and into being. So I think that when I personally come across disappointments, which is a part of human life and everyday life, you have to accept that. In order to change anything, you need to accept it first. So if you're not accepting the mere fact you cannot change that. So as long as it takes for you to sit down and accept that, yes, this thing happened to me and I didn't like it, but it did happen to me, then you're creating this field of spatial awareness in your mind where you realize that, okay, one situation has occurred that I don't like. And then you sit down and you embrace this entire chunk of possibilities, multiple possibilities that exist for you at any point, at any time. You can call this alternate versions or alternate realities, alternate universes of that kind. And the trick here is that you don't have to stay cemented or limited in this one reality or one outcome that you faced. You can envision in that moment, yes, this bad thing happened, but if you were given power for 2 minutes, right? For 2 minutes, what would you choose to make out of this situation? What would be the best possible outcome to create for yourself if that didn't happen? And I think that's called editing reality. That's my own term, but I think that it doesn't matter that if it works or it doesn't work. What matters is that you're putting in effort you're training your brain, your neurochemistry to pick up more on the positives or pick up more on your desired reality. Because the thing with manifestation is you cannot manifest if you don't know what you want precisely. So either you sit down and figure out what it is that you want, which reality you want, or you'll be given a reality. So it's kind of like it dives into the realm of co-creation here a little bit, I feel, and the power to co-create. You're not a victim to life or any of these circumstances. It's about owning and having responsibility for your choices.
Yeah. So, yeah, I suppose many of us or many people are sort of subconsciously moved by conditioning.
Yes.
And these sort of conditionings, whether they come from our parents, society, the matrix, or whatever sort of external force it may be, it can instill in us certain programs of beliefs which sort of paint what is possible for us. And,
limitations.
Yeah, limitations. And I suppose part of expanding your manifestation capacity is sort of realizing that not all the limitations that you believe yourself to have are in actuality true. And this isn't just a sort of a superficial new age saying, which many sort of, people put out there because it sounds nice. This is more of a metaphysical truth regarding the way your attention and your thoughts are a movement of energy, right? And everything is a movement of energy, including material things, matter. Yes. This is why telekinesis, moving objects with simple thought and intention, that's why that is a thing. Mainstream current science doesn't acknowledge it, no. Even though there are many research studies that actually show sort of people doing it. Same with telepathy. Lots of these sort of
psychic powers,
quote unquote new psychic powers, because the current sort of old paradigm doesn't understand the mechanism. It doesn't fit in their model. They don't even acknowledge it. However, these are phenomena, reality bending or manifestation techniques, because it's using your thoughts to
bend reality. Yeah.
We can understand how my thought to grip my left hand, we can understand that because it's very normal, it's very common, but it's a similar process. It's the energy of a thought, the energy of an intention creates a material process that affects a change. It's a very simple, it's a basic motor action. But what we're talking about with manifestation is a kind of an extension of that to sort of more deeper processes in reality. You can think of telepathy, telekinesis, other sort of psychic phenomena, but they're all people tapping into reality, the collective energy field, or whatever terminology people wish to do it, and they're tuning their attention and their awareness, and they're reconfiguring their experience with intention, I believe. And if we do not exercise awareness, then, like you said, we will be the unwitting slaves of some other conditioning.
I think I just want to intervene there. I think that's a very beautiful point that you just said. I think that's what fate is. I've seen a lot of people talk about, oh, can you defeat fate, or can you change fate, and things about fate. I think fate is your childhood programming, your conditioning, your limitations is fate, and free will is your awakening to this higher supra consciousness of knowing that you are a creator of your own destiny. Fate is only relevant as long as you're succumbing to what's been told, as long as your belief is a servant to it. But the second you become the master, you realize that you create, you do not stand lifeless, being a victim to certain realities. You can take action. It's called, what's it called for creative people? Creative current, creative in charge. You can take creative control of your life at any point, the second you realize that.
And I think the way creative control occurs for me, it comes from a realization and an assimilation into just flow, into just being as it is, and you're sort of riding that wave, and you're just watching the thoughts, the processes occur, and there's a witnessing and there's also a participation. And because I think a lot of people, they get caught up in the witnessing and they can dissociate from their experience.
Yes.
But when you're dissolving into the participation, that's when things feel alive. That's when food tastes amazing. Nature feels amazing.
Weed.
Yeah, anything.
Marijuana.
Yeah, marijuana. But so manifestation, it's an aspect of spiritual inquiry, which emphasizes, okay, how do you participate in reality? After witnessing everything, after sitting in meditation for
realizing all of it,
watching the flow of consciousness, after realizing that you are, a spark of God consciousness experiencing itself.
Exactly.
What do you then do? How do you realize that that divine knowing, and how do you allow that knowing to appear through your actions and stuff, such that your actions are not unconscious actions but are highly conscious actions,
conscious decisions on where you want to direct your life. So I want to talk about three things that are coming up for me, which is intention, willpower, and embodiment. So I feel that these are three things that drive your ship in a sea. Your intention is basically the wind, right? I speak metaphorically, but if you get it, you get it. And the ship's wheel is your intention, direction, intuition, same thing. And the ship itself is you, embodiment. So the wind is a participant, right, which is willpower. The wheel is a participant, which is your intention, your intuition, right? You know where you're going. It's not the dark. It's the unknown, yes, but you have foresight. So another tangent, which is people say that they're very scared of the unknown, right? Thinking they can't see anything. But that's why you were born with intuition. It's a headlight. Obviously, no one can walk in the dark, right? That's why you have headlights. If you're going on a trek in the night, it's obvious you're going to be shit scared, and there's animals and there's whatnot, and you're just like, I can't see. You've just forgotten to turn your headlight on. It's like when we were born in this universe, we weren't just thrown here. We have tools. And the thing that I want to bring to attention here is many people forget that, oh, you have tools to navigate sadness. You have tools to navigate distress. You have tools to navigate the unknown. You are not helpless, because it is so easy to get caught up in that victim mentality, like, oh, I can't see anything. I don't know what I can do. Yes, you can. You just have to remember that there is a light inside of you that guides you, and that's always your intuition. So I think your mind can play many, many tricks on you, because it acts as though, when your frequency changes, your mind can tell you limitations and put you in these categorical boxes of limitations. And then you think that, oh, what's beyond this? It's change. What's beyond what you know is what you don't know. And what are you going to do when you're in the unknown is what determines your entire life. Either you can play with the unknown with the element of surprise, or you can fear the unknown with the element of, oh, it's danger, survival. And as we were talking about manifestation at the start of the video, looping back to that, manifestation works best when there's an element of surprise. You're waiting in anticipation for the next phase to open, and you don't know what it's going to be like. But I feel that if you expect a surprise, a good surprise, expect things to be new, be exploratory, be a bit adventurous, and not just sit there fearing the dark, then you may be pleasantly surprised. Because what you feel is what you manifest along with your beliefs. It's all hand in hand. But yeah, what do you feel about that?
Yeah, I want to add something to what you're talking about, people's fear of the unknown versus an attitude or sort of, playful curiosity. What came to me was this story of, I think it was Yogananda, where he encountered a tiger, which is a sort of a representation of fear,
the unknown. Yes,
but a tiger, in fact, because of Yogananda's frequency,
licked his paw or something.
I think he rolled on his back and started, playing around like a kitten, kind of.
Yes, that happens.
And there are many stories of sort of yogis or certain realized beings who've sort of, managed to attain a certain level of frequency, a sort of a mode of existence in reality.
That bends your reality. Yes.
It bends your reality, and
yes.
It alters the way in which other life forms sort of perceive you.
Yeah.
And that's a very deep and poorly understood element of reality. But intuitively, when you pull on the thread of that, it makes obvious sense. Me today, like my recent encounters with like random kids who would just come and sort of play with me and stuff like that.
They do that around you.
And, and that's just because, my frequency is such that it sort of attracts those instances. If my frequency was very different, if I was a very fearful, scared, whatever, anxious, stressed person, I would attract events or manifest events rather
that are evidence of that.
That are evidence of that sort of add to my stress. If I'm constantly worrying about stuff, then
you will find more worry to worry about.
Yeah, but if you can, entertain us for a moment and just believe that there is nothing wrong in this moment, everything is okay. If you can sort of, and I'm not trying to encourage people to gaslight themselves.
No, but it's also about choosing a higher perspective. Acknowledge your pain. Do not dismiss. Do not dismiss that.
Because I think
don't wallow in it.
Yeah, because some people, maybe a past self of myself, would have thought of all these sorts of psychological techniques as akin to perhaps gaslighting ourselves, but more it's about watching the energetics of your consciousness and watching how they move into these different sort of, rooms maybe.
Yes.
Or these different
television shows.
Yeah, frequencies, channels or whatever, Maybe there's a channel of fear where you're sort of you feel this knotting in your chest. There's a whole cluster of feelings in your body that emerge and associated with these thought processes. What if this happens? What if that happens? And you don't feel safe. There is that channel. There are different other channels, channels of bliss, of peace, of the feeling that like everything is okay.
And safety.
Yeah.
You can tap into that.
And I suppose many of us are conditioned to have our channels be completely, tied to external events. We will only feel peace when this happens. And when this happens, I have to feel shit scared.
But you're the one making it happen.
Yeah, exactly. And so the yogic path, or the path of the realized initiate is realizing that they are the creator of their experience. It's not that these external events are what makes us happy. It's our beliefs about, that thing. It's always going to be an experience of peace. It's just many people they believe that they'll experience that peace when they have that money or that car or that
It's externalized.
house. Yeah, it's externalized. But what we're sort of proposing in this moment is a radical notion that you can experience that peace prior to acquiring those external goodies or whatever you need. It's not
goodies.
It's not that you need to reject the external world, but you have to
learn how to play the game.
Yeah, exactly. But that's taken us a bit, well, not beyond manifestation, but it's about
just the start of magic.
Yeah, exactly.
The start of what modern science calls illogical or pseudosciences. So
they call pseudoscience that which they do not understand.
This is beyond your comprehension. It's beyond the realm of the mind. And I think that not everything has to do with just your mind. There are many, many other factors that play along with manifestation, but I think we will cover for that in part 2.
Yeah.
Or another video where we will give a more detailed description on the second chapter of manifestation, a deeper volume.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So stay tuned for that, everyone. That's been interesting and insightful. And
always let us know your questions or anything that you don't understand that we're talking about, because we're looking to form an interactive community with the alignment, and we would really appreciate any feedback or anything that you wish to tell us. And we really hope that you enjoyed watching us speak a lot more about these crazy topics. And we will see you guys the next time.
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.